when I leave things, that's where they stay.
So today we are over in Keighley. This is Mantra House. This is Alice's studio. This is Alice.
Hello.
Obviously, you'll know Alice from our Instagram. Alice makes our cups for the shop, and she's on the third batch of cups now, which are in front of us here. And today we're going to be just talking about the process. I really like talking to people about what they do and their craft. So we're going to have a chat about why you got into it, how you got into it, what makes you love it so much, and have a look around your studio.
Thanks.
So this is going to be like a little bit of an insight. Start of maybe a new series for us, just kind of chatting about different things in the shop. But there was no better place to start than.
Oh, that's lovely.
So enjoy, and we'll go through it.
Representative of what I do.
Just give us a basic introduction. We're obviously here at your studio.
Yeah.
It's lovely. It's full of nice things.
Thanks.
So it's just a little bit of like where it came from for you, what brought you to it, and where you've kind of come from to today. Where are we?
Okay. I think, but I did not expect any of this. That's number one.
Place to start.
This is total surprise. None of it was planned to the extent that I am now, and it's all been just like following my nose and following what I'm interested in and what I felt at peace with, rather than thinking like, I need my own studio. I need to do this. I need to be that. I've tried being like that, and it wasn't working out. So instead, it was following a feeling of being at peace, and then now I'm here. So I was a nurse, and that was not peaceful. And some people, it's their calling and their life, and it's who they are. And I really did try my best, but it just didn't. I couldn't be at peace with it. I was not in a good way, physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, all of it. So I started doing pottery as a way of maybe coming back down from being like hyper stressed, hyper aware. And then the process of going to do pots or make things with clay, that was at Sunken Studio in Leeds. It was so transformational. In a 2-hour slot, I'd go in and then come out a different version of me. And that was a very clunky process. Like I'd go in and say hello to everybody and be really friendly because that's what I wanted to receive. And then I'd make pots and hate everything I made, or none of it was good enough, and I was so horrible to myself. And that was the start, really. And then after that, I got softer because I started treating me like I'd treat other people. And then the pots I made were becoming more like me, and I was embracing that more and more. That's what makes it beautiful, is because everyone is unique, and there are as many ways to make pots as there are people. And then the clunkiness of me working that out, I thought maybe if I could offer a place or a space for people to have that transformational process, and if I can host it or guide it so it's less clunky.
That's it, because when you first went into Sunken, was it from did you go in and do a class? Did you go in and do a course?
Yeah, I did.
Get to the point where you felt like you knew what you were doing?
Yeah. I did a throw-in taster session, and then it was lockdown, and then I couldn't go. And then when lockdown eased, and I had some difficult health things that made me ask the question, like, what's important to me? If life is short, and I don't want to spend any more of it putting things off. So then I did a make a mug course and a make a bowl course.
How did they go?
How did they go?
Yeah. You still got them?
No.
What happened to them?
What happened to them?
Yeah.
I gave them away to friends because I really didn't like them. And people are so polite, aren't they?
Oh yeah. It's the perfect Christmas present.
It's the perfect Christmas present. Get rid of them. Yeah. I did 8 weeks of those lessons, and then I joined as a member, and then I was practicing on my days off and after work or before work or just whenever I could go. And then I was thinking about pots or clay or making and throwing, like when I woke up and then throughout the day and going to bed, rehearsing throwing, and I thought that was normal. I thought everyone did that. And when I asked people, do you throw before in your head before you go to sleep? And they said no. Like, oh right, maybe it isn't normal then. I don't know.
Well, that's a different person's perspective of what is normal, I guess.
Yes, yeah.
And that's, I think, like
it's normal for me.
It's normal for you.
Yeah.
And I think from a passion point of view, everybody approaches stuff different, and that's why people become passionate about things, because it's your own personal connection to a craft or to a project or to a hobby or whatever it might be. So your way of approaching things, if that's what you do, that's what you do.
Yeah. And that was how I was doing it, and I'm doing it now, and I can't see myself not doing it. You know, now it's my way of life. I can't imagine not having it. Yeah,
which is a nice thing to have.
Yeah,
I think anybody who has a job that is high stress, that finds a little bit of solace in something else.
Yes.
And like the headspace thing, like to be able to turn that from you've been able to leave the headspace of a job that is stressful and to go into something, and now you've changed that into something that is your job.
Yeah, that was a crazy bit.
To like make that transition.
Yeah, the flip. It wasn't. I knew I wanted to do something else, but I didn't know. I thought maybe doing this would be. People say don't make the thing you love your job. I think that's what they say, something like that.
I guess it's a kind of the same thing as the don't meet your hero thing.
Yeah, because then you'll grow to hate it or be disappointed and be sick of it.
Yeah, I think it's that level of is it gonna live up to what's in my head?
Yeah. And then so I was actively resisting that. And then did an art foundation course at Leeds College of Art and just actually really liked doing it, so I think I should. And then I'd met you already through Wharf Street, and then maybe did a studio, was it available or something? And because I was working in the coffee shop and teaching at Sunken Studio, I was like, I've just got to do it. And I'd spoken to a potter in Sheffield, and he'd said, you can only carry your studio around with you for so long. Because at the time I was carrying the clay with me and carrying my tools.
To Leeds. Then bring it back at the end of the day.
And leaving that distance and stuff and trying to find time to go. And then a studio at Wharf Street was just so convenient and would like propel me into the next bit of doing it all on my own. Because at Sunken Studio, the staff and the team, the house, do the clay recycling and the firing and making the glazes. So it's so supportive, and it means you can just walk away and let the next step happen. So, which is really relaxing. And that's the bit I wanted to be involved with. So
that's just from a progression point of view, that's just how you get to the next step then. Because then, so going from there where you've learned like your craft, you've kind of got into it, you've learned bits of the whole process, and then you've got your own studio. Because to start with at Wharf Street, you were making at Wharf Street, you were firing in a shared kiln, and then you were glazing,
at Sunken Studio.
So it's still like a 3-part process, wasn't it?
And that the 3-part process was, as well as working in the coffee shop and at Sunken Studio, and I was doing a bit of cleaning as well. That was trying to manage the state of the material was like it was challenging time wise. But it was good because you had to do that to know, like.
Well, you've got to learn every part.
Yeah.
So going from Wall Street to obviously where we are today,
Yeah.
where are we? What are we doing? This is your new
This
place.
is Keighley.
Big up Keighley.
Welcome to Keighley. And that was when Wharf Street was changing hands or moving out, moving wherever. The instability meant I couldn't afford to wait, to stay and wait to see what was going to happen. Upholsterer Alice rang me and said, I found a space and it's perfect for me and you to share. And it's got a sink and windows, and it's a bigger space, and it's got a lift, so I don't have to carry the clay up, which is good. And then I came to view it, and we signed that day. That was quick.
Yeah, but sometimes
Yeah.
Obviously you put into a little bit of a position, like say, with the instability of other things.
Yeah.
But sometimes you walk into a space and you go, especially as a creator, as a maker,
yeah.
You go, this is going to suit me.
Yeah.
And
Definitely. Yeah.
Because, like I say, having a window is a massive thing.
Oh, massive thing. Like, just so I know what's going on.
Otherwise, you're working in a casino and you don't know if it's 3
Get
a.m.
casino
or
brain.
midday.
Yeah, that was happening, and I was forgetting to eat and forgetting to go for a wee and things like that, because I can just focus on something, and then with those white strip lights, it's the same all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, this is better.
Yeah. So we've got windows, we've got plants.
Yeah.
You've got your own little
fresh
sink
air.
And stuff. Fresh air as well.
Mm.
And it's just, you get that element of moving into a new place brings a slightly new approach as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Like you want to change a little bit, you think, right, what can I, especially when it's like moving house.
Yeah.
You look at all the crap you have.
Yeah.
And you go, right, what can I get rid of to make my life easier and better and more fluid and efficient? So I guess a studio move will do that as well.
Oh, totally. It's like now I feel this is definitely a reflective time. Reflecting on where I've come from, because I got the keys to my studio in December, but it's not a year. It's not a year. But I've been doing pots for 3 or 4 years. 4 years, 3 years, roughly. Yeah. So where and like where have I come from, and where am I going? And those two questions, they take a lot of time, because I don't want to be continuing I'm not thinking about where I'm going to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to have a little element of it, but you don't want to. I guess it leads back to the thing that we were saying about the disappointment. Like if you setting goals is great.
Yes.
But setting achievable goals is better.
Yeah.
Like if you say, this, I want to do this. 5 years time, I want to do this. Like I've always struggled with. I've always said, well, about 2 years ago, I said I never want to have an interview again. In like a professional applying for a job sense.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I never want to do a CV again. And that was from a case of I hate those questions. Like I've got personal values that I want to hit, but I don't. 5 years. 5 years is a long time.
Oh, totally.
Too long.
Yeah.
So if you can like incrementally work towards an achievable goal day by day, I think that's way better than saying, right, in 5 years I want to have this or I want to be here. Like it puts too much pressure on it.
Yeah.
I think for
definitely
for creative things.
And what you say about you've got personal values that you want to work towards. That is exactly what I have. It's not a case of in 5 years I want to be stocked here or have people recognise me for this. That's not the aim. The aim is to make things from me, and then if other people see them and they get something out of it, and that's the ambition.
Yeah, well, that's a lovely ambition.
And it's not a prescriptive one. I don't want people to pick it up and say, this is an Alice Hardman mug or glaze, and therefore I should feel happy about it. That's not the aim. I want people to pick it up and think, and it stirs something in them, whether it's, oh, this is nice to hold, I feel comforted, or this reminds me of this place I went to once, or whatever it is. Or even better, I don't like this because it isn't. I like things that are great because that is like affirming your place in the world. So whatever it is, it isn't. It's not prescriptive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I've always like admired your approach to stuff because you've always done things based on emotion and like you always use the word play in like the way you market your workshops and
totally.
do things like that. Like it's all about learning how to. Well, I guess it's a discovery thing. Like if you discover how to interact and enjoy doing something, the play has got to be an element of that.
Yeah,
like
and unlearning.
Unlearning is perfect because there's a million ways to learn how to do things. But it might not suit you. We were just saying before we started filming this that people who traditionally are poor academically get funneled into doing something creative. Well, that's not how it should be. Like,
no.
You should be given the opportunity to learn which way you want to go. And it shouldn't be a case of, you've got to do this because you can't do this. Like, and like you say, unlearning and playing is a massive part, especially in something like this, because if we were to talk about percentages of success from you as a potter, like how much goes wrong? Like how much do you throw away? Like you've got to learn and you've got to unlearn and you've got to have things that go wrong to get stuff right.
Yeah, and the things that go wrong, that's the value. Because if you don't go wrong, you don't know how you can go better next time.
Yeah, and it's not about doing something right. It's
no.
It's working out.
Yeah, and it's more rather than right and wrong and good and bad. That's the immediate word we're drawn to, especially when we want to achieve something. I try not to use those words, especially in here, because there are so many other descriptive words we can use.
Yeah.
Like, this was my intention. This was unintentional. This has surprised me and I feel sad. And or this has surprised me and I love it.
So in here you have to do all your making for orders like us, like Onward, like we had our cups from the very day we opened up yours. But like in terms of other things that you got going on, obviously doing your workshops, what else is driving you at the moment to continue to love what you're doing?
I absolutely love I'm reluctant to call it teaching, but I guess it is teaching, isn't it? I do teach. I teach one-to-ones, but giving someone the tools and nurturing them to do their own thing. That is what I love. I love doing that, and I love because there are as many ways to make pots as there are people, and it isn't for me to say whether the way you make it is right or wrong. There are different techniques, and I can show you different techniques, and I can encourage that person to be like the best version of them, or bring out the best work or output. That's the best thing. I absolutely love doing that.
Yeah, and finding out what makes people comfortable making stuff.
Yes.
Like seeing how they find their own way.
Yeah, and like playfulness and being able to play, that relies on feeling safe. If you don't feel safe, you can't play. Being playful is so vulnerable. So having a space like this that I can create to be safe, that's so important to me. I wouldn't be able to do what I do without having the safety of this space.
But you spend a lot of time in here.
Yes.
So you've got to feel like you're in a place where you're happy and you're content and you're able to make stuff. You're inspired.
Yes.
But you are. That feeling of safety is important.
Yeah.
Or for people who come in who have never touched a potter's wheel before, they've never seen how things are made in a ceramic studio. Like for them, it's very daunting.
Yeah.
And then for them to come in and see this, and this, and go through the process and see things, what things can look like and what happens when things don't quite go to plan, and being comfortable with that is nice.
Yeah, and it takes time. It's not an immediate.
I was terrible the first time. Well, I've only been on a potter's wheel once in your studio, and it was awful.
You were so focused, and you wanted to do it well, so hard. You just stopped breathing.
Yeah. Yeah. Expectation.
Yes.
Like you want to be good at stuff, and I think a lot of people want to be good at things.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like I said before, you've got to be bad at things to become better at things.
Yeah, definitely. So. Yeah. There's only one person I've met that could absolutely do it immediately, and that they use their hands all the time and every day, and it was a transferable skill, really,
Right. Okay.
and that's very unusual because it's so unique.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah,
I think the thing that I struggled with was the pressure. Like in terms of like the actual physical, like how to use your hands and
yes,
put the right amount of pressure onto the clay.
Yeah,
Because there was a point where you were like, you need to go hard, you need to go hard, you need to go hard. And I was like, I'm gonna squash it, and then you don't, and then you learn how it pushes back against you and that kind of thing. And it's a very unique craft.
Definitely. Yeah.
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 And I need to have another go.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, come again anytime.
Which we definitely will.